So, I think obviously when you think about Marner, you think about his speed and his ability to be on the puck and want the puck, and then being able to create time and space and find the open man. His ability to see the ice is exceptional, and his speed is really just an element with the puck and without it. He's just always around it. So, he's obviously a heck of a player, and Hyman's consistency with his game and his ability to get on the forecheck and be around the net and be around the puck too, and just kind of be extremely tenacious. I always found him over the last couple of years just very hard to play against because his competitiveness and obviously his hockey sense are extremely strong. And obviously two great players, and very, very lucky if that's how it shakes out and who I get to play with. But I think not just those guys, but the depth throughout the lineup. I'll be fortunate to be playing with anyone on this roster.
John Tavares of the Toronto Maple Leafs is our guest. Nick Alberga, Steve Coulis with you on the power play. John, take me back to the courting process. Was it sheer coincidence that Toronto was number one in terms of meetings, Islanders number two? Was there a way you built said list?
No. It honestly was trying to figure out when the teams could get there, because there was a lot of teams flying across the country. And obviously, I think there were a couple of teams that weren't sure at that time if they were going to be in the mix, and trying to figure out what made sense and what not. So when we were finalizing things on the Saturday, the draft, and then into Sunday, and obviously on the West Coast, we're behind 3 hours as well. It was just trying to schedule all the teams and slot them in. And it was kind of musical chairs there for everyone at CEA Sports and my agent, Pat Person, on just trying to schedule everyone. And there was really no particular order that I was trying to organize them in, other than trying to be cognizant of the teams and the commitment they made to come out to see me, and the time and effort that took, and just trying to understand how important this time of year is, obviously for teams and organizations that were obviously through the draft and then into free agency, trying to be prepared for everything and everything you have to focus on. I didn't want to try to make it all about me, so I think just being cognizant of that. So that's just kind of how it worked out.
Yeah, and truthfully, I couldn't believe my mind. There were people just hanging out on the sidewalk outside. It just shows you the volume of this decision you made. It's my understanding that Toronto showed you a video as part of their package with meeting you at CAA. How many times did you watch that video, and how much were you impressed with Kyle Dubas and the staff and what they presented there?
Well, I was extremely impressed. I think, his vision, I think, obviously, I think in the immediate future, and then what was very important to me was all 7 years of my contract and being able for me to be able to play at a high level, and for the team to be playing at a high level, and obviously with where that young nucleus that the Leafs have here, and then obviously I saw, and he laid out for me what is coming down the road with how well the Marlies did in winning the American League Championship, and how many entry-level players are on that team, and then his vision on how to kind of continue that and sustain that over the course of a long time, and all those things, and how to keep building, keep making adjustments. And obviously I didn't want to come to a team where I felt like the team was going to have to subtract players, and he felt very strongly about why that wasn't going to be the case with the Maple Leafs. So all that dialogue with Babcock was very good, as well as how he could see where the team could get better, some of the challenges they face, but then also highlight the strengths and how I can be an impact on that team and in that locker room. So I was fortunate that they put a nice video together for me. It was definitely impactful, and really, I felt throughout the week that the meeting went extremely well, and I just had that feeling that this was right, that this situation, the timing of everything, where the organization's at, this team's at, and obviously starting to feel some of that connection of being from there over as the week progressed, just kind of led my instincts, and then my knowledge that I gained from the meeting and some of the times that we had talked over that course of that week, that was the right situation, right place to be for myself.
You mentioned Mike Babcock, John. Obviously, 2014, 2016, familiar and in those two tournaments, although unfortunately there was an injury in 2014, but the club, of course, still won. And where in the equation was Austin Matthews? Would you or your agents have reached out? Did you hear through the grapevine he was bullish and very excited? Would something like that be important to you? Could you take us through those two gentlemen and their buy-in to the whole process?
Yeah, obviously my familiarity with Mike through those two tournaments where we had a lot of success, that was really good to have. We're able to kind of get past some of the introductory stuff and kind of really just get into some of the hockey stuff, which was, I thought, really important for myself. You know, and I thought when I played for him with Team Canada, I know they were short stints, but he put a lot of faith in me, and then he expressed that on how that would work on a daily basis. And for a long time with the Maple Leafs, which was great. The dialogue was great, and we had some really good questions for each other. Austin was great as well. He reached out to me during the interview period, and just stated why he wanted me in Toronto, and thought why things could really work with me and him. And obviously, he mentioned to me that I thought was important for myself of how bad he wants to do something special there, and obviously he wants to be there for a long time. So all those things were really important to me, and then he was great in the time that we talked over that week.
Toronto Maple Leafs forward John Tavares is our guest. Nick Alberga, Steve Cooley is with you on the power play. You know this, we know this. Islanders fans are extremely passionate individuals. Rest assured, they're listening right now. What do you want to say to them, John?
Well, I think I just want to continue to extend a lot that I tweeted out the other day. I think that this was a very difficult decision. I couldn't be more fortunate to have been an Islander for as long as I was, and that everything the organization and my teammates, the fan base and the community gave me, it was extremely emotional for me. It really still is, because the place really means a lot to me. I gave it everything I had to try to do the best I could, and I know, we had some success, but we never had enough success, and I feel a lot of responsibility being the captain and playing a big role on that team, not doing enough and getting enough done, getting the job done. So, that's something I have to live with, and it's not easy, because I know how passionate that fan base is, how proud they are of their Islanders. So I'm just really thankful that I got to be there for as long as I was there, and I think the future is still really bright there. I think there's some great people there. Some new people have come in that are obviously very accomplished, very respected. Ownership has done everything to commit to building the Islanders and bringing a winning tradition there, and obviously securing the new arena in Belmont, which will come in very soon, is, I think, a great thing for the identity of the organization and for that fan base. So I think there are really good days ahead there, especially even with some of the talent that's there, the young talent and the established talent. So, I wish them all the best, and very fortunate to say that I was an Islander for 9 years.
Well, John, once again, thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations. I know you've had a lot of media inquiries the last couple of days. Appreciate it. Have a great summer, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime. There's John Tavares of the Maple Leafs.
I see him again at the local superstore in the produce section. I think it was 2 years or a year ago. So he was there heading to the cottage. I just left him alone. He was he wasn't incognito. He wasn't wearing a disguise. I was there for bananas and strawberries, and he was packing up the cooler. I don't think he doesn't like to go shopping like I do. We don't like it.
No answer. No response. Paul Stastny, Todd Reardon, The Real Deal, James Neal coming.